Hi, I'm Maggie Haney. I'm here from the Minnesota Catholic Conference. We all just testified in the House on their health omnibus bill in their committee today. So I have these wonderful ladies here. They're from pregnancy resource centers and other organizations from around the state who testified as well. We testified in opposition to some of the abortion provisions, but more specifically, they testified in opposition to the removal of the positive alternative grant. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves quick.
I'm Jill from Forest Lake.
I'm Darlene Kopesky from Cradle of Hope.
I'm Annie from Alpha Women's Center in Prior Lake.
I'm Carrie from Choices Pregnancy Center in Redwood Falls.
Jennifer Meyer from Options for Women East St. Paul. I had a patient testify today.
Great, thank you guys all for being here from around the state. So I know most of you testified in committee. It was a long committee. There was 57 testifiers on the list. So do you want to just share a little bit about your experience, how it was testifying, and what your thoughts are?
I think it was empowering to be able to be involved at this level. I know from experience that if we don't say something, nobody will. So being able to stand up, and specifically for positive alternatives, I felt like it was important because we're super involved in our community, and I don't think that people understand how involved in our communities our pregnancy resource centers are.
Right.
And I would echo on that. I think that was one of the most infuriating things I heard was that the bill was proposing that what we do in the pregnancy centers is redundant to what the counties are doing. And I just wanted to make the point that actually the counties are referring to us, that we are a valuable resource, especially in the rural communities.
I agree with that. I think there's so much misunderstanding about what we do and don't do, and I really appreciated the opportunity to get in front of the legislators and let them know the resources that we provide to our community.
I agree. It was very empowering, and I felt like even though it sometimes seems hopeless, the circumstances and the direction of our state, we need to speak up for the families that we serve. And without our support, where would families turn who are struggling with their babies?
And thank you for the opportunity to let our patients speak. They were more than willing to say, this is our voice, we want to be heard, and we appreciate everything that you do for us.
Yeah, and it's so important to hear from patients and to hear from people who work at pregnancy resource centers and pro-life organizations. And one thing a lot of you guys brought up is that the counties refer to you guys, and like you particularly Cradle of Hope works with a lot of the tribal organizations. I know you're not the only one who does that. And so how important it is and fundamental your organizations are in your community and even in your broader community to be able to provide resources for women. And without the positive alternative grant, I know how much of the budget does it take up for you guys? Like 40, 50%?
35% for us.
Yeah.
35 to 40.
This would take up about 50% of our budget, and it would limit our access statewide. It might limit our support to the tribal nations and many other agencies as well.
Yeah, and we're right at about that 50% mark as well.
Yeah.
We don't receive the grant, but we support all of our sister organizations that depend on this for really important funding for them.
Exactly. So you heard between 35 and 50 and maybe even a little more than that for other organizations that this grant funds. So without that money, all services will probably have to be cut in half, or they're going to have to spend even more to try and get donors to supplement all this, and that takes more time. So it really puts them at a challenging place, which in turn is difficult for our community. So I just want to thank you guys for being here, and thank you for the work that you do. You're really the hands and feet of the pro-life movement and the heart of the pro-life movement. So we're grateful for all of your support and that you were willing to take time out of your busy schedules to come down to the Capitol, which isn't always the most exciting thing, but it's an important thing to do. So we're grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you.